Let's go. I want to drink coffee so bad.
Hey, what is? I'm Edwina.
I'm Hannah.
If you've been watching us for a while, please like and subscribe our channel to help us know that we are doing something that poses value to you.
We appreciate all of the comments and love a lot.
Today, we wanted to talk about how to find a new family, because not all host experiences work out. I went through REMATCH. I didn't have an agency to save my butt, so I had to figure out how to find a new family all on my own. It works a lot like it did the first time around. When looking for a family, you go through certain websites, etc. But it is a little bit different because you have less time. You know the system a lot better because you've been an au pair before, and you can also meet people in person since you're already on the ground.
The REMATCH process can feel very intimidating and you might feel like you just want to quit and go home, but honestly, Edwina went through the process and ended up having a fantastic year, or last few months, and came back to Paris multiple times. So it's worth just taking that time, really like pushing yourself to the limits to find a new family, and then maybe you'll make a friend like me.
I think first, a piece of advice is the transition period between the two families becomes a bit murky. You either are kicked out and totally homeless and have to bum it and find a family immediately, or you've given a 2-week kind of leaving period for you to know that you're going to end at this date, and then also have this time period where you're in search of a job and you still have accommodation security because you still have a bed to sleep on. Not as pressing, but still kind of urgent because you only have whatever, 1, 2, 3 weeks. And because your family knows you're leaving, it can be kind of awkward.
Don't let them treat you badly, and just remember that you'll be out of there soon enough. So maybe 2 weeks with a family is better than
Bumming
being
it
kicked out
and
completely.
being homeless, exactly.
Yeah. The very first step I would suggest is actually telling your host family that you're going to leave, because I know multiple people who didn't and ended up in awkward situations of just running away in the night. So that's number one. Number two, generally,
are you serious?
like multiple stories about that kind of thing. We would first suggest that you go through Au Pair World as usual. We suggest this to most au pairs because it's a great way to find families without having to pay any money, and you'll be able to gauge whether there are any families in Paris when you are looking.
On top of that, I would post my profile on any website I could because of that time pressure. There's greataupair.com, there's Craigslist, there's Fusac.fr for those who are in France. There's websites particularly for specific cities, for Europe, for that country that you're in. So make sure you find Facebook. Make sure you find all of those websites and you're posting profiles on them.
We have linked to a lot of these websites before in our previous video, which I will also link down below, so you'll be able to find them very easily. So Facebook is one of the most powerful tools you can have as an au pair in terms of finding friends, finding families, finding community, finding things to do, finding free stuff. There are multiple ways you can use Facebook.
But Facebook is probably your best bet in finding a new family, because there are people on au pair groups posting all the time about how they're leaving, their family is looking for a new au pair, or they just have another family that they know needs someone to work for them. It's really also great because you're in direct communication with the au pairs themselves, so you can ask them what their family is like, what are the real pros and cons, what's the real lowdown, and you can go through them to do your real vetting process, which you couldn't do the first time around because you were on Skype, you weren't in the country itself, so you had to just trust that your family was gonna work out. And obviously if you're going through REMATCH, it didn't really work out. The other thing about Facebook is that make sure if you're looking for a family that way, you post and you look at these groups multiple times a day. People post on them every hour, so make sure you're keeping up, and often jobs are offered to those who comment first. So make sure you're among the first to contact those people that are offering jobs.
The next tip is that rather than having to write out your profile multiple times over and over and over again and messaging people over and over and over again, you could simply just create a website where everything is all in one place, and it's very easy for you to then send this link quickly to new host families. So include experience with children, include your CV, include pictures, make yourself look personable, make it look professional and nice and neat, and this may sound daunting, but there are multiple ways in which you can do this for free through WordPress. It doesn't need to be a bought domain. It could be your name.wordpress.com. Multiple different options, which I will also link below.
It's just a quick way, since you're applying to so many jobs, to be able to send out your information. But in the same vein, don't be totally distant about and robotic in all of your applications. Families want to know that you took time to read their profile. So in your letter to them, maybe include your link to your profile, but also include a few sentences about why you think that you'd be a great match with that family. To just let them know that, you know, you're not just sending this application to everyone in the city.
Agreed.
The last tip and also benefit of going through the rematch process is that you're already in the country, in the city, so you can actually go and see these people. Schedule your days and go on multiple interviews, and then you'll have options and you'll be able to have a feel for families. You'll have met the kids in person. You'll have seen the house. You'll have seen your potential apartment, rather than having to rely on photos that you get emailed to you. You have that 2-year advantage, so take advantage of it and make sure you're going to interview with families in person.
You should also figure out what went wrong with your last host family, try and work out exactly whether this was something that could be fixed, and then discuss this with your next host family by asking the right questions, by asking about working hours, by laying down and going over a contract together which specifically states how many hours you should be working and how much more money you should be compensated for if that was the problem. Or if it's a case of discipline, speak to your host parents about discipline and really discuss the nitty-gritty details in person that you wouldn't have discussed the first time around or thought of before you moved.
Yeah. Basically, don't make the same mistake that you made the first time. Do everything in your power to avoid going through rematch a third time, because that would suck.
Yeah. Okay.
We're gonna get coffee, but we hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. Comment. We love your comments and questions.
Follow us on Twitter at Au Pair in Paris and visit our website, aupairinparis.com. And that's